everybody, welcome to another episode of Exploring Photography. I'm Mark Wallace and I'm joined by Destany. And today we are going to be looking at the qualities of light and learning how we can use the effective size of light to create some really nice, high contrast, soft, beautiful portraits. We have a lot to cover today. We're going to begin by understanding the qualities of light. And so I'm going to bring back an animation that I made, I think, on my very first year of YouTube. So let's take a look at that right now.
There are lots of words that photographers use to describe light. Let's start by talking about two of the most common terms in studio lighting: hard light and soft light. The best way to tell if light is hard or soft is by looking at the shadows it casts. Hard light casts a very clearly defined shadow. Its edges are hard. Soft light casts a shadow that's hard to tell where it starts and stops. Its edges are soft. On a day where the sky is clear, the sun will throw a concentrated beam of light that will produce deep, sharp shadows on the subject. This is hard light. But if the clouds come out, then the light becomes diffused. Instead of the light traveling in the same direction, it is cast in different directions, and the source of the light becomes much larger. A larger light source will throw a wider beam of light with shadows that are more open because light is bouncing around and spilling into the shadows. This is soft light. An important term is effective size. The effective size of a light is based both on the physical size of the light and its position in relation to the subject. In other words, the closer a light is to the subject, the larger its effective size and the softer the light will be. The farther away a light is from the subject, the smaller the effective size and the harder the light will be. To illustrate this point, let's look at the sun. Although the sun is 100 times the width of the Earth, it looks like a tiny speck in the sky. That's because it's 93 million miles from the Earth. This makes the sun's effective size very small, and therefore it gives off very hard light. Now, if we were able to move the sun very close to the Earth, its effective size would be much larger, and the light it casts would be much softer. We can change the quality of light by changing the effective size of our light source. Since moving the sun closer to the Earth would be impossible, and a really bad idea, there is another way to modify our light source. We can use modifiers. Now let's bring back the clouds. In this scenario, the sun would be the light source, and the clouds would be a light modifier. The sun lights up the clouds, and the clouds become a huge light over the Earth. Now our illumination is the entire sky, not just the tiny dot of the sun. The effective size of the light is much larger, and the light is much softer. Sometimes, soft light is called diffused light, and hard light is called harsh light.
Now that we know about the qualities of light and the effective size of light, let's just review that effective size to make sure that it sinks in, because we are going to put that into practice today. So I've got two Octaboxes. I've got this guy right here and I've got one right over here. And you can see that they are approximately the same size. Or are they? Absolutely they are not. Look at this. This one is much, much smaller than this guy over here. And that is how effective size works. The closer a light is, the larger the effective size. The farther away the light is, the smaller the effective size. So we need to put that into practice. So Destiny's going to come right back out. And what we're going to do is we're going to compare these two lights side by side to sort of see how the light wraps around Destiny and how we can create some really high contrast, soft, beautiful light. So you ready to do it?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it right now. Let me give you an overview of what we have set up here in the studio so we can compare that small Octobox with the gigantic large Octobox. So Destiny is right here. She's always going to be standing right there. Back over here we have this. This is our black paper background. This is going to make sure that behind Destiny we have an absolute solid background. We have our Octobox right there. And then I'm going to be shooting from this camera this way the whole time. Okay, so to do this, what we're first going to do is learn where to position our small Octobox. Notice that we can move this forward, to the middle, or to the back. So I'm going to just put it right here. This is right on center with Destiny's nose, and it's about, right in the middle of the softbox. So yeah, so it's just facing right to the side of Destiny. So doing that, we have our light to the side. That's going to give us high contrast light. So I've already metered this at f8, and so I'm going to take a quick shot. So look straight at me, perfect. Okay, now when we look at this light, you can see that we have really high contrast light. We have too many shadows on Destany's face. That's not what we want. We want a really nice high contrast, but beautiful soft light as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this forward just a little bit. Now notice that this is really, really, really close to Destany. So the effective size is larger than if we had it, I don't know, a foot or 2 feet away. So it's about 6 inches away. But I've moved it in front, and what that should do is allow some of this light to wrap around and fill in on the shadows. But remember, this is a small octobox. So we're going to shoot this one more time. Destany's going to look right at me. Beautiful. And now you can see that we're getting light that is starting to wrap around on the other side of her face. Now we could stop there and we could just shoot away, but for me, I want even more light to fill in on those shadows. And so what we need to do is we need to change this small octobox here with something much larger, use the effective size of light to create softer light and a much more pleasing look. So let's swap this out and let's compare that to that giant octobox and see what happens. We have now changed to this very, very large octobox. This is about 5.5 feet in diameter. It is spectacular because the effective size of this light is so large, we have all kinds of options. So with the small octobox, we can pretty much only shoot headshots. But with this guy, we can shoot headshots, we can shoot mid-length shots, full body shots, you name it, we have that. And we can move this to create different lighting styles, different looks. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the giant softbox here, octobox, set up pretty much the same way that the small one was set up. So I've already metered this, so we're going to have this to the side at f8, and let's just take a look. So Destany's going to look right at me, right in the camera, perfect. And when we take a look at that, you can see that the light is very, very similar to what we had with the small octobox, but I have more options. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move this so it is in front of Destany. So it is much like 80% of this is in front of Destany. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt this just slightly so that it is going to be filling in. So that means that the side of her face toward the light is going to be exposed correctly. But we also have a light that's going to be wrapping around to fill in some shadows to almost get sort of a Rembrandt-y kind of look. And so I'm going to meter this just to make sure we're still at f8. So I'm going to point this toward my light. We're at f7, so I need to move this a little bit closer. Yep, and do this again. And there we go. So now we are at f8. That is beautiful. And so the nice thing also, I'm using a long lens, so I'm shooting at 105 millimeters. So that means that my angle of view is nice and shallow, and so I'm not seeing that softbox. So I'm zooming in and going back so that I'm not seeing the lighting in this scenario. So let's take a look at this. Ah, that is beautiful. When we look at this, you can see that this light is just wrapping around Destany's face. It looks really wonderful. And now we have all kinds of options. We're getting that nice high contrast, soft light. I can shoot horizontal like this. I'm going to shoot a vertical shot just so we can sort of see. And this is going to be from about the waist up. Beautiful. Ah, that looks great. You can see that we can get all kinds of beautiful light. Okay, well now that we know about the effective size of the light, and how a larger octobox is going to wrap around and give us light, not just on the light side, but the shadow side of our subject. Let's do a real shoot. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use this stuff. You might have seen me use this before. This is a window screen. We're going to take this, we're going to crunch it all up, and we're going to use this to create some texture and even use this sort of as a dress, I guess we would say. And so this is going to be worn as an outfit. This is just a normal Windows screen. This is the stuff you'd put over your window to keep bugs and stuff out. So for this to work, what we need to do is we don't want it to look like it does right now. We want to make it have all kinds of bends and folds and stuff. And so we're gonna take this out and we're gonna start smashing it up and crunching it and doing all kinds of stuff. And so let's do that. And then Destiny's gonna come back out and we're gonna shoot. Now that we've crunched this up, the really cool thing about this is that Destiny can play with this screen. So she can stick it above her head, she can move it around. The other thing that's really nice about this is if we shoot from the side, because this is so specular and reflective, you won't really be able to see through it. So we can sort of control how that looks. So that'll just add to the mystique of our high contrast, soft, light images. I guess that's how we'll call them. So let's go over here, Destiny. And I'm going to meter this. I want this to meter at f8. And the reason I want it to meter at f8, oh, that's perfect. Right on the dot, f8. I just sort of got lucky there. The reason I'm metering at f8 is that allows us to eliminate all of the ambient light, the lights from our videos. And then also it gives us enough depth of field that everything's going to be in focus from in front of Destiny to behind her. And then also that makes sure that the specular highlights in that screen, it's really sharp because we want to do some post-production. So let's start playing with this. We're going to apply the exact same lighting that we had before. We're going to sort of cheat this out a little bit. I've changed my lens. Now I'm shooting with a 70 to 200 millimeter lens so I can really get in tight. I want to shoot some verticals. I want to shoot some horizontals. And so without further ado, let's shoot. I absolutely love these pictures. That soft wraparound light works every single time. And even though it's soft light, we get nice contrast because of the position of light. And I really absolutely love the images that we shot. Hey, if you want to see more of Destiny's stuff, I have included a link to her Instagram in the description of this video. Also, all the gear that's in this video, I have tagged that. You can click on it to get more information or purchase that. Helps us make more videos. Also, make sure you subscribe, like, leave a comment, ask a question, all of that stuff. All of that interaction helps us make more videos for you. Thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you again next time.